Maranatha! Welcome to part 14 of Looky here. And this is June 24th of 2024 by man's calendar. And welcome back to the big show, where we are trying to show you big what's really happening in the world today. Let's get on back into this footage.
That's a new high. Biden can't pull it off, and Democrats are starting to feel it. So they're left with three options. The first one, drop the mother of all hoaxes. Historian Victor Davis Hanson says this, quote, "Do not be surprised when told of a secret Trump plan uncovered to round up critics in 2025 and send them to camps, or lurid revelations about evidence that Trump is in worse physical mental shape than a debilitated Biden. And right on cue, here's your Roundup Critics hoax."
Let's imagine he's just blowing off steam. He's saying, if we can find that leaker, I'd like to take him out of the back of the White House on the South Lawn and have him shot. When he's frustrated, when he's blowing off steam, again, to use Barr's formulation, is someone whose way in which he exercises his frustration is to casually talk about having people who work for him shot, executed in some way. Well, I don't know if that's by hanging or by a guillotine or by the firing squad.
Guillotine, okay? That's a new one.
Don't dismiss the guillotine thing. If you're watching and waiting for the Lord, you know how accurate this is. Don't just dismiss this stuff because media tells you not to pay attention to it. They have 30,000 guillotines for a reason. They didn't invest all that money in having these made for no reason.
And that Trump's in worse shape than Biden hoax, right on cue.
As the journalist who spent the most time with him, I have to say he couldn't remember things. He couldn't even remember me. We spent an hour together in 2021 in May, and then a few months later, I went back to the White House. I went back to Trump Tower to talk to him about his time in the White House. And he had this vacant look on his face, and I said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "No."
Biden couldn't remember when he was vice.
Oh, Trump couldn't remember him. Oh, honey. Let me explain something to you. You just a nobody on his scale of somebody's. He ain't gonna remember you. You ain't in his little circle. He ain't gonna remember you. If you were in his circle, he'd remember you. Everybody's buying to be in these people's circle. You know whose circle you should have been buying to be in? Jesus' circle. That's who you should have been seeking to be in with. That's who you should have been seeking to be a part of their social bracket and not the world's. Because friendship with the world is enmity between us and God. But you wanted to be known by these people and not by God. Don't worry, God knows you anyway. Yes, Jesus still knows you. Enough to say, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity, for I never knew you." He knows them that are his. Only them that are his. But he knows if you're a worker of iniquity or not. He knows just like, we should know and can see better than we can see. And if we can see that you're a worker of iniquity, certainly he can. It's more than just a person's put-ons that you see. Yeah, I could grow my hair to my feet and wear the holiest looking garment in the world. That doesn't mean I'm holy inside. If I'm not living the Word of God, there is no holiness about me. If I'm not trying to do everything in my power for the Lord and still trying to do things for myself, there is nothing holy about me. This ain't about me. I know where I'm going. I know the path I'm on. I know what I'm headed for. And even if I stop doing this today and stop today talking to you about this, I've already done more than enough to get me a guillotine. But you know what? I don't care about that. Because I'm not going to stop talking about the Lord. Because everybody else has already done that. I'm going to keep going. I don't care if it gets me 10 guillotines. I'm going to keep going. I don't care the outcome of this world and this life and what happens to this flesh man. I care about what happens to my spirit man. I care about what happens to your spirit man. Enough. But I love the Lord more than anything. More than either one of those two things that I care about. My spirit man, your spirit man. At the top of the totem pole is Jesus. And will always be. And I care about him. And I care that nobody is talking about him like they should be. When I was a child, people talked about him all the time. And now they don't. I miss that very much. People used to care what he thought. Now they don't. People used to worry about what Jesus thought about them. Now all they worry about is what these politicians think about them. And these politicians, well, you just heard that little news feller, he said he didn't remember him. The politicians don't care about you and they don't know you. Oh yeah, when it's election time for 5 minutes, they might know your name. Talk to them after they've won and see if they remember you. Guarantee they don't. Talk to them after they've lost, and I'm assured that they will not remember you, even if you tell them you voted for them and that you hate that they lost. Most people are only out for themselves these days. You are not living like apostles. You are nothing like Jesus and his crew. You are not following the examples that they set before you. You're following the example of the Pharisees who lived against God, who betrayed and murdered God when he came amongst them to live with them. They had an opportunity to have God be their leader, and they chose men, even murderous men, with no care and admiration for their fellow man, above loving God. And even still today, this remains true. This is what I have seen, what I have lived in, and what I have known. You have belittled me and mistreated me, and in doing so, you have done it unto the Lord. You have treated me like you were better than me. Some of y'all have made statements to me like I was not good enough for whatever reasons, but that you were, to make yourself feel like you were more important or better than me, or even prettier than me, or whatever. I don't care about that. I never cared about that. I never sought to make myself better than anyone for any reason. And I still don't. You see, because I happen to believe that when the time comes, the Lord will rise me up where he wants me to be. And I have no intentions of being higher or lower than any other. And those that want to do that are devils. Those that want to be above other people are devils. If you cannot be equal to everyone, you are not living the example that Jesus set at all. He taught us to be equal one with another, because he, being God, lowered himself to be equal with us, and he was clearly better than us. Clearly. Because he's God. But that's not what he showed us. He came down to us on our level.
President. Forgive Trump for not remembering one of the thousands of people who interviewed him. The hoaxes aren't hitting, which is why option 2 could be the wild card. The Washington Post is suggesting replacing Kamala Harris with Hillary Clinton. And arguably a significant obstacle to a Biden win is Kamala Harris, whose low popularity has not been improved by her lackluster performance as vice president. We are left to speculate about motive, but the effect of Clinton inserting herself into the news cycle is to remind voters that, but for her defeat in 2016, we wouldn't be stuck in this old white men dilemma. No one has mentioned her as a possible running mate for Biden, far as I know. But why not replace Harris with Clinton? At 76, she might want no part of it, but it's hard to retire when you feel your job isn't done. Option 3. Daily Mail reporter Charlie Spearing says he's hearing rumblings that there could be a secret Democrat plot to replace Biden this summer. The Democrat Avengers, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, have deliberately thrown...
What good is it going to do to replace Biden this summer? The election is in November. That is the stupidest thing. Oh, so 3 months to the election, you're going to replace the president or supposed president? This is all garbage. That is stupid. Why would you even consider that? Rumblings. That's one of the most dumbest rumblings I've ever heard in my life. Here, the election's tomorrow, but we're going to replace you today. What good's that going to do? It's already in the bag. You know what? This election is a hoax in itself. Because it's going to be who they want it to be. They're going to tell you that the votes were in the favor of whoever they set in. And you're going to have to accept that. Because it's not like you're sitting there counting the ballots by hand.
Down the gauntlet.
So this is all just bull crap. And you're believing it.
For an early debate to stress test Sleepy. So Democrats have 3 plays left. Which one is it?
Even people who do not believe in Jesus Christ and the end times know something is very wrong with our world. As of late, I have been hearing from so many people that 2024 will be the...
They're going to stress test Sleepy. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard of. You know what a stress test is? That's for your heart. That's dumb. You know what? You can walk to the mailbox and get stressed. Somebody almost runs you over. Yeah, that's a stressful event. This is stupid. You're running the country of what is supposed to be the free world. How could that possibly be stressful? You're a puppeteer anyway. What does it matter? Oh, goodness gracious. This is just ridiculously redundant. Please watch the rest of this video. Because, yeah, there's more I was going to cover. But this has already took so long to cover this amount of stuff. And I just really want to get into this last video I have right now. So, in the next part, I think I'm just going to go on and jump into this next video. Because I know it's going to take a little while to do yet. And, so I'm going to provide the link in the description box. Please watch the rest of this. And yes, there was some stuff I wanted to point out in the rest of it, but unless the Lord tells me to at least do one more part before I go out. If He tells me to go ahead and do one more part, I will, of this particular video. But I really want to get into that next one.